Alright, I am back on my next section of Let's Play of Veil of Darkness. So we just left the monastery and we're heading back to the village. Sweet loading times, let me tell you. We'll go into that house to my left in a little while. And like I said earlier, finding new locations. Pretty much talk to those three drunkards. I heard that Edward had a mysterious package delivered to that gypsy fortune teller before the night of his murder. What's her name? Maria? Can't you all just give it a rest? I thought we weren't going to talk about him anymore. Aren't you interested in what might be in that package? No, I'm not. But if you're so interested, why don't you go to the gypsy camp and ask Maria about the package yourself? I'm not that interested. The gypsies camp all the way to the northeast, near Karen's own castle. Seth, can you bring me another ale? And while you're at it, bring around for Claudia and Julie too. And there you have it. Karen's Fortress, which we're not going to go to quite yet, and gypsy camp. Let's dig some information on Edward if possible. How are you doing? My name's Carlos. My name's Devin. I'm kind of new around here. Say, what are you carving? You mean you can't tell? Oh well, never claimed to be the greatest woodworker. I'm hoping that when this is finished, this piece of wood here will be a flute. Really? It isn't that bad. I'm sure you're a very good woodworker. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll prove to you that I'm not all that bad. You find me a piece of wood, sturdy tree limb or something, and I'll carve you something special. Honestly, you don't have to prove anything. I insist. Besides, if you like what I make, you might become a regular customer. Next thing you'll know, you'll be wanting me to make all kinds of things. What do you mean by special? Well, now that all depends on the wood you bring me. Different wood can be made into different things. I have to see the wood for it to reveal its potential. Well, that's just neato. I'm gonna go pick up some sticks. Or not. Greetings, my name is Maria. Have you come to me for fortune telling? If so, it will cost you a silver coin. A fortune telling? You mean like tell a future? What the hey? Can't hurt. Give me your palm. Alrighty. As I close my eyes, I see. It is a dark and dank place. I cannot see clearly, but I know you are there. You have a hammer in your hand, and your arm is rising and falling. Wait, there's something else. Nails. I see iron nails, and that is all. Edward's package? Ah, yes, I remember. I had almost forgotten about that package. Edward was a strange man. He came to me many times for card readings and to discuss the occult. I don't think this man had many friends, so he came to me as often as possible. I saw his death. When I told him, he didn't seem too surprised. The next day he sent me this package. The day after, I learned he was murdered. There was only one thing in the package, a key. I don't know what it is used for, so you may as well have it. Alright, thanks for giving me someone else's possession. Whatever. Hello, I'm Carmen. I'm a healer. Are you hurt? If so, I can tend to your wounds. Or is it something else that you want? I can make many different potions. That's okay, Carmen. I'm not really hurt. Well then, don't scare me like that. I'd appreciate it if you only asked help when you needed it. What kind of potions are you talking about? That all depends on your needs. I make elixirs of healing for many of the villagers. Those take a long time to make. More time than I have at the moment, that is. But if you could find the correct ingredients, I might be able to make a potion that would cure madness. What exactly do you need to make that potion? It requires the use of 2 plants, seeds of fennel, oh hey, I have that, and the leaves of betony. I also need a lock of hair from the one who suffers, and a wide belly jar with a face painted on it. With these, I'm fairly sure I can make the drop. Of course, I've never tried because I haven't had all the ingredients. Well, by Jove, I happen to have some useless fennel seeds. Make my long trek to the village again. Alright, I didn't really show you when I was here last time, but this door right here was originally locked. Which is kind of weird. I'm guessing Edward wanted someone to find this key and go into his house. Otherwise, I don't know why he didn't, like, bury it or something. And what I did there was just put some coins in the bag so I had more space. And here is our first dungeon kind of a thing. Oh god, bats! Oh, they're everywhere. Now, you probably noticed that the map changed to the lower right. It does that when you go into dungeons. It's actually kind of cool. The map starts out blank, but when you click on it, which I would do at this point, but you know, I'm kind of have a pre-recorded thing going here. It makes the map as you explore. So it's kind of cool. That way you don't get lost or anything. However, it doesn't put points of interest on, like if you found, like, say, a plant. You just have to stumble on it. A gate that is locked. Let's try the pry bar. Of course. Won't budge. Now, as you see, I'm holding that gothic mace and a pitchfork. Certain creatures that you will find can't be hurt unless you have a specific thing. Pitchfork kind of, you know, just kills regular things. The mace, however, though, will kill skeletons when I run into them. Sometimes I'll run into like zombies or ghosts. You need something completely different. If I recall, it's silver that will kill a zombie in this game. And ghost, you need that silver blessed. Alright, so I am in someone's random ass basement with lots of money and alcohol. And a pouch with even more money. Wine cellar key. Well, Seth was just talking about this earlier. I must be in Krill's wine cellar. And I now have a key to go back and forth. Why there's a cave going between Edward's house and Krill's mansion is kind of beyond me. Maybe there's a little something going on in the past. Oh yes, this is the computer game saying, hey, we made a lot of doors. Most of them are useless. Don't worry. Oh, and enjoy our game. But at least they're honest about the doors leading nowhere. There's Deidre. Hello, I was afraid we wouldn't get a chance to talk. Did everything go well with Father? Did it go well? I'm not so sure. This is kind of like a dream. From what your father told me, I guess I'm kind of stuck. We all are, Devin. This place is a nightmare for all of us. I'm lucky to have a man like my father. He has enough power and money to protect us from a lot of dangers. Well, if I can help it, this nightmare is going to end soon. Here, I would like you to have this. Father would read stories to me when I was young, and the princess always gave the champion knight her scarf as a token of good luck. Thank you, Deidre. You know, when this is all over and we're all away from here, maybe you and I can, you know, fuck relentlessly. See more of each other? I would really like that, Devin. Let us hope that day will come. And I think your father is lucky to have such a lovely daughter. You flatter me, Devin. Actually, I think it's Father and I who are lucky, because you will free us from this evil. And when we are finally gone from this terrible place, maybe Father will let us break open a bottle of that wine he prizes so much and we can celebrate. What one are you talking about, Deidre? Oh yeah, let's just play dumb like I just didn't raid his cellar. Which he's talking about right here. Yes, what is this wine you're talking about? Oh yes, the thing that's in my pockets. Won't even bother talking to Dumbo right there. Alright, and let's visit the local drunks. If you don't mind me asking, is that a bottle of Krill's wine you have? How did you ever get your hands on? I mean, Krill guards his wine collection like... Sorry, I don't mean to ramble. I'll tell you what. If you break that bottle open, we'll drink a toast. Toast from that fine goblet of mine. I'd like that, Seth. I'd like that a lot. 'Cause I'm gonna steal it. That bottle of wine is the finest around. And the way Krill hoards his wine collection, this is once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yeah, just like that chalice of life is a one-in-a-lifetime cup. Thief. Seth, this is gonna tick you off, but I need to keep this goblet for a while. I'll promise I'll give it back later, but I need it for now. Wait 1 minute. What do you mean you need my goblet? Give it back now. Sorry, Seth, but I have to keep it. I'll bring it back after I'm done, I promise. I'm telling you, you won't find a better silversmith than Erasmus. His shop is in the village to the northeast of here. Jascha, can you play us something new? Something we haven't heard before? Why, of course, Julie. Something new, eh? I know where his shop is. I've been to the other village before to see the magistrate. And I doubt Erasmus's skill. I said is that I'm not sure I can spare the silver pieces for what I want made. Would you two quit bickering and drink? While you're at it, why don't you buy me another ale, Georgie? Oh, no you don't. It's Claudia's turn. Alright, and they revealed finally that there is a second town in the valley. But first things first, I'm gonna go alleviate that talking tree. Not only am I pissing off the bartender with that chalice, but I'm also going to piss off this guy. It'll be lovely. Here we have is the prophecy. Through this whole game, I'm going to try to do it in order. It's not necessarily possible, though. I'll probably go into that later, but just know that the events you can't really do in order 100%. But the next line says he must free a man cursed of curiosity's sake. And as he heard this guy's sob story, he was curious about this plane. Don't mind me, just gonna light this lantern and throw it at you and burn you to death. Nothing personal, just prophecy business. Hey, wait! What are you doing? Oh my god, I'm gonna burn! Please don't do this! I'm gonna burn! No! Yeah, I'm kind of an asshole. Alright, and now I have his ashes. Don't ask how I figured this out when I was like in 3rd grade, which is when I originally played this game. I don't know. Trial and error. We'll go with that. But eventually I figured out that, hey, I can torch this tree and bring him back by resurrection from this monk. By the light, you actually have found the cup of life, and I see that you got some ashes as well. If you don't mind, I'll take the cup, silver coins and ashes. I'll begin the ritual immediately. Hingar, hungar, hingar, hungar, hungar, or whatever the hell he says. Yes, he is alive. I brought a man back from the dead. And I'm not Frankenstein. Alright, we brought that tree guy back from the dead. And human. What the? I'm alive. I can't believe this. I'm alive and I'm back in my own body. Sorry about that. But there was no other choice. So, where's my plane? What makes you think I'm gonna tell you anything? I'm sure you could have found another way. You have no idea how painful it is to burn. I'll tell you what I should do. You should tell me where my plane is, you ungrateful son of a... I'll gladly tell you where that plane is. The dead ones took it to the swamp. Yes, the swamp, and I hope they casted it into the quagmire. If they did, you'll never see that plane again. I'm leaving. May the Dark One take your soul. And here I thought Sophia was a bitch. Quit my pitchfork and gothic mace. And now a swamp. You know, I only walked back and forth from the monastery. I have no idea how I couldn't run into said swamp, but whatever. Alright, and there's my plane. Needless to say, it is in pieces, and there's no way in hell I'm getting that back. And I magically picked up a backpack that looks exactly like my backpack inventory on the side next to my coffin health bar. Pick all this crap up. A pistol and a lighter. Time to do some pseudo inventory management. And once again, I have no idea how I figured this out in 3rd grade, but I magically used the rope next to this tree, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit! I'm going down a dark hole! Because, you know, that's totally a good idea. And we are in another dungeon. There really isn't a whole lot down here other than one key item to killing Kryn later. I know, right? Nothing important, just something that'll kill Kryn. By the way, I'm not entirely sure how to say his name, Karen or Karn or Kryn. I've just always called him Kryn. And here we go, some mushrooms. Yep, that's right. As useless as mushrooms sound, this is actually one of the key items to fighting the Vampire Lord when the time comes. You will eat it and you will temporarily go blind, which in most vampire lore, vampires can hypnotize you with your eyes. And so, needless to say, he won't be able to do that if you can't see anything. Stops one of his many tricks. Of course, that's not going to stop him from running up to you and tearing your head off, but that's another precaution we'll worry about later. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have to do down this little cave / dungeon. And we'll check out the other village. It's kind of got some weird music, but whatever. Alright, and since I freed a man from cursed from curiosity's sake, it will disappear. And dispel one dead but forced to serve. A youth in madness he shall willingly heal. Those you can kinda do in order. Kinda. Hello there. What can I do for you today? My name's Erasmus. I take it from the sign outside that you're a silversmith? What kind of things do you make? Well, I suppose I can forge just about anything from silver. I can also plate a lot of things if that's what you'd like. Would you be interested in forging me something? You bet I would, but you're gonna have to tell me what you want forged. Why, just the other day I had that crazy gravedigger Krager in here asking me if I could make him a weapon of silver. Now, making a weapon is no problem, but when I told Krager how much silver I needed, he just about dropped dead. Why would Krager want to make a weapon of silver? Why? Because silver has some unique magical properties, that's why. It's the only metal that these walking dead seem to fear. I guess Krager's seen a number of those creatures in the graveyard. If I supplied you with the silver, could you craft me the weapon? I sure could, but like I said, it'll take a lot of silver. Oh, I'd say about 12 pieces. That's enough to make a small sword, but that doesn't include my fee, which is another 3. Yeah, you kinda rhymed. So would you like me to craft this small sword? Sorry, but you don't seem to have the 15 pieces. What kind of things can you plate? Just about anything, I guess. Like bullets! But I can't read your minds. You're gonna have to tell me what you want plated. You guys like my little side comments? Alright, this is a little interesting here. If you're looking for Constantine, he's in the other room. Constantine? Is he your son? Excuse me while I spit out these leaves. Yes, Constantine's my son, the only one I got. Nobody ever comes here to see me, so I figured you're here to see him. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly are you chewing on? Bentony. It sort of tastes like mint, so I like the taste, and it's supposed to cleanse the blood. If you really want to know what it's good for, you'd have to ask Annabelle. Tastes like mint leaves? Do you mind if I try one? Sorry, but I don't have many of these leaves left, and they're really hard to find, from what Constantine says. He's the one that goes out and picks the stuff. If you want some, you'll have to ask him where he finds it and get your own. Anyway, as I raid this old granny's house. This house is obviously home to that old lady and her son, who happens to be a historian of the valley. So there will be a lot of dialogue here. He's very informative. Hello, I'm Constantine. As you can see, I'm a collector of sorts. Well, actually, I'm a historian, but I also collect relics of this valley. I must say, there seems to be some interesting stuff here. Is there anything you'd sell? Ah, fellow collector. My apologies, but most of these relics are very valuable to me. Though I do have one piece, a talisman of sorts that I can part for 2 silver coins. Haven't a clue what it may be good for. You might want to brave a trip to the old witch at the crossroads. She might tell you, if that she doesn't eat you first. Would you like to buy the talisman? Thank you. I do hope that you have some use for this charm. Remember, the old witch at the crossroads might know what it's good for. I'd hate the thought of you taking your money for a worthless trinket. What kind of history do you study? I devote most of my time to this valley's past. I'm particularly interested in Nikolai, the lord that ruled this valley before he was engulfed in shadow, and his sons. Whatever happened to this Lord Nikolai? He was murdered by his son, Karen. At least that's what I believe. The records say it was a thief. You see, there was no proof of... And with his father and brothers dead, Karen won dominance of this valley. Why would a thief want to kill Nikolai? Sounds more like an assassination. I agree, but it was written that on the night of Nikolai's death, many valuables were stolen from the Lord's castle. Among those valuables was Nikolai's signet ring. So you see, it was thought that the thief attempted to steal the ring while Nikolai slept. When the Lord awoke, he must have struggled with the thief. He was stabbed in the back with a dagger. No one was there to hear Nikolai's cries for help, so he bled to death in the passing of an hour. Oh, that sounds like fun. How many sons did Nikolai have? There were 7. Alexander, Fyodor, Nathan, Michael, Karen, Christian, and the youngest, Peter. What do you know about Alexander? He was a warrior, one of the finest swordsmen ever from what I've read. He eventually met his match, though. He dueled with a stranger, never before seen in the valley. Alexander was killed and then beheaded with his own rapier. After the duel, the stranger swordsman took Alexander's head up to the bar and deposited it there, as if it were a bag of coins. That is how the tavern got its name, the Severed Head. Instead of fleeing, this man waited for the Lord's guards to seize him and hang him. He never resisted, only laughed, as he was dragged to the gallows and hung. This Fyodor, what kind of son was he? Oh, he was vain, terribly vain. He abused his father's position and spent his coins on booze and wenching. Why, once his father was away, Fyodor made a coin minted in his own image. Nikolai was furious when he returned from his travels. He had every one of them destroyed. In the end, Fyodor must have angered some unknown person, because he was found in a dark alley with a skull split open. Do you know much about Nathan? Nathan loved to hunt, so he spent a lot of time in the small cottage he had built in the dark forest. He died in a hunting accident, I believe it was. Thought to be a bear or a wolf that got him. Of course, there wasn't much of his body left to tell. What is known about Michael? Michael was the weakest of the brothers, so he decided to dedicate his life to the scholar studies. Unfortunately, he grew into full manhood. He died of his sickness. And what can you tell me about Karen? I'd prefer not to discuss that evil one. Suffice to say, he's pretty much the problem of this valley. He rules completely. No one can oppose him. The people of this valley are his sustenance, which he feeds upon. What do you know about Christian? A fine minstrel from all that I've read. Like all of his brothers, he too died a strange and mysterious death. And Peter the youngest, I'm guessing he died as well. Although his body was never found, it was believed that he drowned. The pony he was riding with was washed ashore. I imagine that his body probably sunk to the bottom of the black water's murky depths. What's this black water you mentioned? Sounds like a lake, but I don't recall seeing one before. You're right, it is a lake, and a large one at that. It lies in the very center of this valley. Not very many people go there. It's supposed to be inhabited by will-o-wisps, creatures that feed on human life force. From what I remember, legends say there's an island at the center of the lake. Of course, nobody has crossed that body of water since the old ferryman drowned. That was well over 100 years ago. What do you know about the betony plant? Betony? My mother likes to chew the stuff. It's not easy to find, but I've discovered a small patch in a remote place in the cemetery. I picked the patch clean last time I was there, but betony grows fast. There might be some now. Like I said, he's kind of a plethora of information. If you didn't catch on, all the brothers kind of died untimely. And it's presumed to be Karen. The girl just stares at you blankly. Yeah, maybe she has the hots for me. I don't know who you are, but we don't like strangers bothering us here. Everyone knows Christina can't speak, and there's nothing I can do for you. It would be best if you leave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. My name's Devin. I'm the outsider that crashed here not too long ago. So you're the one I've heard about. Be careful if I were you. Outsiders don't tend to live long around here. It's a shame Christina is in a trance of hers. She always likes hearing stories from outside the world. Christina's very pretty. She your daughter? No, she's not, but I've been like a mother to her. Nobody else is willing to take care of the girl, so I do. What happened to her must have been terrible. She doesn't deserve this, you know. Do you know what happened to her? Have you tried finding a way to get her to snap out of the trance? I don't know the whole story. Actually, I don't know much of the story at all. Only Christina knows the whole truth. She's been in this trance since shortly after the death of her betrothed, Krill's son. For the life of me, I can't recall his name. Krill has a son. I've tried everything I can think of to get her to snap out of the trance, but nothing's worked. I've spoken names of people and places, anything to jog her memory. Nothing to hit. Yeah, I'll punch her out of that trance. What's in this house with skulls on the sides? You don't have someone you want me to bury, do you? It's been a while and I'm just dying for the chance to dig a grave. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to dig yours. Well, that's an introduction. Even if I had someone to bury, why would I have you do it? Because it's my job. I'm Krager, the caretaker. That means I dig graves, and I must say I like it. Some abhor the thought of digging graves, you know, working with the dead. I, on the other hand, see it in a different light. I'm laying people to rest, and rest in this forsaken place means peace. At least for some people, that is. I'm surprised you're not busy with all the death in this valley. You just have to rub it in, don't you? There may be a lot of death in this valley, but very little of it is true death. There are too many people eaten by wolves or zombies, turned into vampires, or just plain missing, never to be found. If something doesn't happen soon, I might have to forget my way to the graveyard. I mean, if this keeps up, I may have to take things into my own hands. You know, go out and create work for myself. What do you think? I think you've really lost it. You're crazy. If you tell me where the cemetery is, I'll be on my way. It's not too far from this village. While you're there, take a moment and admire some of my work. I think you'll like it. Hate to disappoint you, but I don't think you'll be getting a chance to dig my grave. That's what they all say, my friend. That's what they all say. Remember that when you do find yourself overcome by madness or clenched in the jaws of a wolf. You may get eaten, and I might not get to bury your body, but at least I'll get to add you to the Book of Souls. What is this Book of Souls? Come now, you don't think that all I do is dig graves, do you? And murder. The Book of Souls. It's a book containing all the names of the dead and how they died. Can I see this Book of Souls? I might need a name from its pages. I don't have to show you anything, and I'm definitely not going to let you rummage through the Book of Souls. Well, fine, I'll just have to get you killed. I mean, oh, bummer. Don't mind me as I ransack your house. Bottle and torn shirt. Okay. And my inventory's full. Don't worry, Krager, I'm just gonna clean up your house and tidy it, take your torn clothes, potions, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, back onto Corinne and his brothers. As you've noticed, they all had untimely deaths. It's pretty much assumed that Karen killed them all and then turned on his father and killed him and took his place as the ruler. And since by the time he killed his father he was a vampire, there was pretty much no succeeding him. And he has ruled the valley ever since. And yeah. Time for the Magister's house. Suppose you're here to speak to the Magistrate? Yes. You will find him in the next room, sir. And please, sir, do not keep him long. Alexia realizes his duty as Karen's magistrate, but he hates to be bored by little, unimportant things. Time to talk to the law. Great, another villager. What can I do for you? And please be quick, for I don't like those who waste my time. I didn't come to waste your time. I'm Devin, the one who crashed here the other day. So you're the one. In that case, I'm glad you came. I'm the magistrate of this valley. It is Karen and the Dark Lord himself who have given me the power to govern this domain of his. I will tell you what I tell all outsiders. Obey my laws. If you don't, you'll be hanging right beside the murderer, Ambrose. Murderer? Not you too. I've had more unrest after hanging Ambrose than I should have to put up with. As far as I'm concerned, he's the one that killed Edward. If you beg to differ, I'll tell you what I told all the others. Find me proof, and I will have that person hung as well. You mean you might have hung an innocent man? Are you sure it was him? As far as I'm concerned, it was Ambrose who spilled Edward's blood. Even if it wasn't, I had to hang someone. If you can bring me 3 pieces of evidence that it was someone else, I'll have the true murderer hung. Do you have any evidence on that may make me believe it was someone else? Found this piece of torn shirt in Edward's house, and guess what? Here's one of Krager's shirts with a torn sleeve. What do you think of that? Interesting. I'll have Bayard check on this. I'll see if what you say is true. I found this empty wine bottle in Krager's house, along with others just like it. You'll find the same bottles in Edward's house. Interesting. I'll have Bayard check that as well. We'll see if what you say is true. Well, Krager's growing parsley. So what? You're going to have to do better than that. What does parsley have to do with anything? I'm not sure. It was... Yeah, I really don't know why they added that. I guess it was kind of a hint to go research parsley from someone else. Anyway, in the meantime, you may want to take it upon yourself to do some good. Being an outsider, I'm sure you'll need some money. Well, there just happens to be a way you can earn some nice purse of silver. Purse of silver, huh? Come to think of it, I could use the coins. What do I have to do? You know, just kill a werewolf. There's one in the valley who's a werewolf, a lycanthrope. Cairn usually lets such creatures live, for it pleases him. But this werebeast has become troublesome. Slay it and the bounty is yours. Kill a werewolf? I don't have the slightest idea of how to kill one, let alone find out who it is. Legends say that if you confront such a beast in human form and brand that person a werewolf, thus revealing its secret, that it will change into a wolf. The werebeast must then kill all who knows the true identity before it can once again take a human form. So you see, finding out who the werewolf is only part of the problem. You must also kill the beast. And I tell you this, no normal weapon can do such a thing. Sweet. I guess I'll just go running around screaming at people that they're the werewolf! Or not. Which, when I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade, I definitely did do that, actually. And boy, was I shocked on who the werewolf was. But we'll get to that later, because I do have to kill the werewolf at some point. Hi, Hungman. Don't be frightened. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't hurt you. As you can see, my body is quite dead. I've been hanging here for a week now. Oh, sweet. Talking about body. That's okay. I'm not frightened, just a little surprised. You didn't expect to find a hangman that talks, eh? Well, neither would I. Not in this cursed valley, even. I normally wouldn't speak to a stranger, but I wanted to warn you about the old crone in that hut. Why would you want to warn me? ... Because I know what it's like to die an untimely death. I wouldn't see the same happen to you, even if you are a stranger. If you're not careful, you might end up in her iron pot, or worse, parts of you stuffed into some jar, only to be used later in preparation for some dark spell of hers. The witch is completely overcome with insanity. No telling what she'll do. You say the old crone is mad? Why? We've talked, her and I must say that we've learned to despise each other. She wants something I can find, a key to an ancient library beneath the monastery, but I won't give it to her. Never. Over the years, she's killed all the monks save one, and like her, he is now mad. This key that you're talking about, would you give it to me? Yes, I'll give you the key, but before I do, I want my soul redeemed. I want to be free of this rotten corpse. What has to be done to free your soul? You know, just another day in the valley. The true murderer must be found and hanged. What did you do anyway? Must have been pretty bad if you were hanged for it. That's just it. I didn't do anything. That's why my spirit is trapped within this lifeless carcass. The magistrate had me hung for the murder of Edward. I didn't do it. But it didn't matter. The magistrate had to hang somebody, and he chose me. You mean to tell me the magistrate hung you simply to set an example? Yes. The magistrate has blah 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 blah. Basically, magistrate's an asshole. And so I shall suffer until someone redeems my soul. How can you be so sure it was the old crone that killed the monks? Unless someone frees my soul, I am doomed to exist between worlds. The spirits of the slain monks come every now and then. They spoke to me. They scorned the witch as much as I, and now we have what she seeks, a key. There's a book in the library that she wants, a book of dispelling ghosts called the Etheric Rites. When the hag finally accepted the monk's ignorance, only one remained alive, and he's mad, driven insane by the brutal deaths of his fellow brothers. Well, he just warned me and all, but let's talk to that hag. I see that there is someone brave enough to enter the hut of the dreaded witch Monica. Come in and talk. What other than that hooligan Ambrose, haven't had anyone to talk to for a long time. A witch, eh? You're not gonna cast some spell on me, are you? I've heard stories about... Stories, young man, and that's all they are. Stories. I have no wish to charm you, eat you, or anything of that sort. I simply relish the chance to talk. Who is this Ambrose? I didn't see anyone around here except for that hanged man. Here we are playing dumb again. That's him. He has something I've sought for years, and he won't give it to me, so I'll continue to torment him as long as his soul remains in that corpse. What is it that you've been searching for? A key. A key that will lead me to a book that holds the secret to dispelling the ghosts of my poor grandfather, the Etheric Rites. The grandfather of yours, is he a ghost or something? Not only a ghost, but one that has been unrighteously damned, and I mean to free him. When I was young, my grandfather Vladimir fell victim to a vampire. He himself became such one. The villagers hunted him down, drove a wooden stake through his heart, and then beheaded him. He was then buried with an iron spike driven through his skull. This was done to prevent him from coming back as something else. I was heartbroken as a child, for I loved my grandfather very much. Soon after his burial, the villagers discovered that the spirit of my grandfather had been summoned back to force to serve as a guardian to the mausoleum in the graveyard. This book, what did you call it? Etheric Rites? Are you sure you need the key for it? It lies in an ancient library beneath the monastery. The book is there. I know it is, but I can't get it without the key because the library has been sealed for over a century. At first I thought the book was hidden on the island in the Blackwater, but I was mistaken. I have even found a way to raise the dead ferryman from the lake. Let me get this right. You rose a dead guy from the water? It was the only way I could think of to get to the island. Only the dead ferryman knows the safe passage through the jagged rocks that lurk beneath the surface. All I needed was an ivory horn. There's a spell and runes that need to be carved into the horn. After this is done, the horn has the power to raise the ferryman. So if I find an ivory horn, can you carve the same engravings? I will, but only if you help me free my grandfather's spirit. When he's finally at rest, I'll carve the runes for the horn. Everybody's got a deal. And I think this will be a good time to end this current session of terrible voice acting in Veil of Darkness. I'll see you on the next video.